There are many different ways to play Terraria. You can play with mods or even different classes, but what if you wanted to play with modded classes that are random throughout the game? Can you beat Terraria with a wheel of classes? So you may be confused by this challenge, so let me explain the rules. So my class will be determined by the wheel and what I spin. I will not be using any vanilla classes and only modded, so I can do new experiences. After every progressive boss, I will go in this list as follows. Now you gotta start with a spin a wheel, so that's what I did.
Hey, that's a good start.
The bee or beekeeper class is just bees pretty much. The features will be shown once we get there. But I finished my character and gave myself a little starting equipment from the New Beginnings mod. Then I created my world. I went for corruption because I thought I would get a class I could usually pierce the worm, and I chose a pretty good seed that would match my world name that I got. Upon the first boot, I admired my surroundings and how beautiful the background looked. But anyways, I got my very first beekeeper item off spawn, so I didn't have to worry about getting it. I tossed some honeycomb around for some early aim practice. I checked out the modes on my bees. I could either defend myself, send my bees to attack, or produce more honey. I will mainly use the attacking mode with occasional gathering, but I sometimes defend myself. Now that I am set up, I started to work on housing. I got some wood, and then decided on making a magic house that I never made. I went to the desert and got some cactus. Then I fought my first enemy. It wasn't looking too bad for me. I was minding my own business when the Nidrion appeared, and I got myself into another battle. I used my expert dodging skills to not get hit by the water bolts and threw my honeycomb. I fought strong and hard, not literally, and I clutched and clenched my cheeks and was victorious. I need some housing for my NPCs, so I spent the rest of the day working on it. Then it was done. Well, for the base at least. I was checking for what I can craft, and I figured out that I can make my first armor set, but I need more pollen, so that's what I did. I was going alright until I got clapped. And finally, I had enough pollen. And there it is, our first armor set. I'm not really sure what I'm doing here, but here's some random stuff going on. I cough like an iPad kid, but I was for some reason checking my first attempt at this challenge.
That's the challenge, bro. I do have tools now. Make silt. Oh.
No, we're not doing this.
I didn't realize it was that.
Okay, I don't know if I sneezed or I like squirted, so bless you. I went open some chests and I found my first beekeeper accessory, then my second, and then my third. It was time for that epic gamer construction gaming session. Yeah, I chopped down a tree and then a lumberjack fell out, which is crazy. He sells wood. Cool. I forgot that I don't have any wings or a horseshoe. I went to the merchant and found my next beekeeper accessory. This time I proceed to absolutely conquer this hill and go down carefully. Like, who takes fall damage? That's crazy. Like, I don't know who would do such a thing. Who would do that? I go to the jungle and I use all my luck on this one wolfram. I thought that was a king bee to the queen bee, and I thought the bees would like me, but they don't yet. One day. I was searching for weapons I could use, and I found the beam stick, which, yeah, I'm gonna use that. This started my journey to find the boomstick. It took a bit for me to get down this tunnel because I kept getting swarmed by ants and zombies, but eventually I got through. After all that effort, I found my first chest, and I got 2 spikes. I kept digging down until I saw a familiar green glow at the bottom. I went to go to the chest, and turns out I got blessed by the Skibbity Lords, and I got the unreal boomstick in the end. I upgraded my weapon so I do a little bit more damage instead of tickling the enemies. I sold some stuff so I can get a little bit more money into my piggy bank. Because bees are involved in the jungle, I put the jungle pylon down so I can get there easier. So I decided to make it look better and spice it up, and now the pylon looks pretty nice. I would go and find a second chest where I would find a annoying the digester, which is what they call me back in college. I would get 5 bottled honey so I can get my beam stick. And there was the beam stick in my possession. And it wasn't a bad weapon, except it had insane recoil like my cheeks. but I got clapped by an army ant, which means I'm going to become the ant bully. I put down a elevator so I can easily get down to hell, and then I get blocked by a or I can't mine yet. On my way to this life crystal, I found a gem cave, which is very nice. I increased my life. Then I forgot that for some reason, one of the mods makes it so the extraction area only gives you frog legs. So I'm not complaining because that's a lot of money. Got more money, and then a slime raid happened. So it was King Slime time. I kept at it until King Slime spawned, and then it was time for first boss. Because I had Calamity, King Slime was a little bit more fast than usual, so he was extra bouncy. I used the recoil of my beam stick as an advantage so I can get a little bit more movement from the side I'm moving in. He was quick when he was very small, but eventually I won. I still need to kill I to progress, so I opened my bag and I got a new weapon that I would use partially during the fight. I tested it out, and definitely during I needed some range, so it would be great to use. Now it was time for Eye of Cthulhu. I'll try not to get distracted by how beautiful everything looked. We have a majestic background and Eye Cthulhu's aura. But anyways, eventually the fight was finished and I was victorious. You know what that means? It's time for the wheel. Clicker self-explanatory. Just click. I wanted to go to the shimmer, so I marked it on the map. I bought a cookie from the merchant so I could get my first clicker accessory. Then I was off to get to the shimmer. So I dug my way down, or bombed down, and I went through the... Oh wait, I forgot about the thorium thing. I moved left more so I didn't interfere with the aquatic depths. So I went down more and... Oh my... So I went down. Then I reached shimmer. Yay. Then a worm gave me the groan tube. Then I found a beekeeper accessory way too late. I went fishing for a little bit, but I kept getting distracted, so I stopped. And it was that time for the insta housing because I didn't feel like building. Back to fishing, where I kept getting distracted. I thought it was safe, but the water bolts went through the walls, and then he went through the wall. I went fishing in the ocean for a little bit. Then I found myself a new clicker. I needed defense, and the clicker armor can only be made after Skeletron, so I just made platinum armor. I went to go set up my Eater Worlds arena. Then it was time to continue the tower. And then it did the weird thing where it would place it wrong, so I had to keep it consistent. Eventually, I decided that I would try and do Eater Worlds. It was an interesting beginning, and my damage was not great. Everything was okay until I got juggled by her balls or something, and then I died. Eventually, a goblin army would be approaching from the east, so that's what I did. I'll use this new clicker I used during the event, and it was pretty good. It won't be long until the goblin army has finally been defeated. And then I spent a few bit of coins on getting a new clicker reforged, and I don't know why I was like. Anyways, here's what I had: all my accessories and my new clicker. I decided it was time to do it again, and it was during a blood moon too, so that was interesting. As you can see here, I was doing pretty nice for myself. Good damage, and I was just flying. You may wonder how somebody can mess it up, and I don't know how, but I do not the next time. And I finally conquered her. Yeah. So that means it's wheel time. Okay. Defenders basically just using only sentries, and you know what? It was actually pretty fun. Oh hey look, a meteorite has landed. It was time to get some hellstone, so I slurped that up. I used my new hell... whatever that says in the top left, against that life crystal. And I was able to just farm in the desert with it. I did old ones so I can get some accessories. Never really do this event, but you know, it was fun while I did it. I set up my Skeletron arena. Then I went to go get some feathers for my armor. Then some waiting later. I think I was looking pretty good. And I was actually able to finally fish in peace. Finally. And eventually, I fought Skeletron. I just ran and made sure that he would hit my spikes. And it did work. It was pretty effective. Eventually, he was gone. Now it's time for a spin of the wheel. Sure. I'm not reading all that, but basically it's just you use accessories and stuff. It's like neutral, so you can do like whatever. I finally found my meteor after some time, and this is the most unique meteorite spot I've ever seen. I shimmered my old gear so I can get my new gear. Then I got my Artificer armor and my first bonus accessory slot. Then I noticed that I can have a monkey dart if I play Charger class. Man, hope I one day if I get to play that class. Then it was time to head into the dungeon. And as you usually would, you kill stuff and then loot the chests. Then I noticed I had dog meat as a pet, and I just remember that I gotta hop on Fallout 4 again. Maybe something will happen soon. I cleared the way so I can fight Wall of Flesh. And then randomly I found a Unreal Hellwing bow. And then I learned that I could dash upwards, which is interesting. I made myself another accessory. I got rid of Hive Mind so I can get some aerial light. Can we appreciate how nice the sound is that they changed it to? Okay, now eventually I thought it was time to actually start the Wall of Flesh fight. Here's my loadout here, and yeah, let's begin. I was doing alright, I was moving, but my damage was not great. And I ran into a big problem in the end where I wasn't doing enough damage, so I reached the end of the world. That's not good. I try again and I do more damage, but I'm still right at the end. This time I would use a better bow, Eternal Night. And this weapon is so much better, and I did it. I accomplished it. Now we have made it to hard mode, so now it is time to spin the wheel once again. Charger is basically holding down left click to deal big damage, because you are charging your attacks. Was browsing the optimal loadout and noticed how interesting the emblem cost is. Yeah, that's 8 ranger emblems. Crazy. I went down to destroy some altars, but because of Calamity, just got some souls. I defeated the worm for some extra demonite for more storage, then started to get rid of the mechs. And if you think I'm going too fast, then you are correct, because I didn't replay buffer too much, was focused on the grind and didn't want to fill up my entire SSD. I'll explain my loadout here. So we got my armor that is missing textures, fantastic. And we got the accessories. Then the weapon, which is a dart gun with crystal darts. And you can see how effective it is. I noticed shortly after that you can have a whole railgun. Now that is badass. I crafted a consumable to increase my max charge by 25, so more damage. I fought the twins, and it wasn't so... I fought the twins, and it wasn't so... I fought the twins, and it wasn't too bad. I fought the twins, and it wasn't too bad. Took me just over a minute, if you check the clock. Now, time for a prime. And since I have crystal darts, this was incredibly easy. Didn't take too long until all the mechs were gone. Well, let's give it another spin. If you like fishing, then this one's for you. This class involves getting your rods stuck in enemies. Okay, that sounded wrong. You get your lure attached to enemies. Yeah, that sounds better. But anyways, I went through ore progression to get titanium. Then I needed to reduce my number of lures because this section would be very short if I kept my 45 lures on. Yeah, it's a bit too much. Quality of life. I went fishing for the sand elemental for the fragment. Then needed a frost core. So I went and I took 768 damage. The Rune Wizard contact damage has some competition. I finally got one, but suffered an icy explosion trying to get it. So why did I get those materials? For my armor, and my defense wasn't too bad. I got myself an Aegis Fruit, which gave myself 100 defense. I prepared an arena for Plantera, then began. Didn't have a good start because my rod was shy around her. Then got removed by her tentacle. I know she was freaky, but kinky? All time has always been in the right place. Anyways, now that she is gone, we got another spin. Thrower is self-explanatory, just a class based on the removed throwing class in the game, which merged into ranged. I had to defeat the very first boss in the checklist, and that was trivial. I went to the dungeon for the post-Plantera loot. I was mainly there for the dark matter for my armor, but picked up messenger gear too. I made my way through the temple, cleaned up, and prepared the room. I got myself kunai, which should be good enough for the fight, and it was alright. But I failed the first try because I need to focus. Now, we are here. The last spin. So, let's see what we are left with. Last class. Good ending. Blood Hunter is a vampire class with dealing damage to collect blood, which allows you to do strong secondary attack. These are called stakes. This is where I need to focus. Need to get the best I could possibly get. I want to get Floor Fight for my Blood Keeper armor set. I saw a set that looked cool, so I made that for vanity. Now, with my load that I thought was good for cultists, but it still needed some work done. I went down to get an accessory to make the Bloodstalker cape. I wanted to get the Duke mount for the Moonlord, so I set up an arena. I was looking for upgrades to my damage and found the Terrorblade Dagger variant. I was doing some random stuff like selling things I didn't need, beating all the mechs again, and I don't know really why I did that. But what I do know is my need for these other clips. I eventually got the Broken Hero sword, and I finally crafted it, and it was a perfect roll. I expanded the arena more, then went back for a second time. This time, I got it done. Yay! So it was wise to be better prepared, because here are the pillars.
God, it's a solar pillar.
The solar one was right there, so that was first. And it was okay. Odd. But I noticed another dagger made with blood candy. I didn't think much of it and continued to get rid of the pillars. And Vortex was next. Then it was gone. Stardust was next. Then I was gone. Stardust was next. Then I was gone. I meant that it was gone. Me too again. There was one left, but I wanted to get them out, so I went to get it real quick. It was all fine until he started teleporting behind me. 1, 2, and 3. So I did rethink that dagger and went to get blood candy. Just need the most damage you can possibly output and skill. My material grind consists of getting blood with vials from enemies and blood candy from myself by consuming blood obtained through combat, which are the stakes. Now, with the best weapon I could possibly get, went back to try again. I gained better damage from last time, but not skill. I do not claim this performance, and I have changed. I finally did it, and glad to be done. So let's just end this. I went for the last pillar, and now impending doom approaches. I upgraded my potions and made it rain. And here it is, Moonlord. I stay focused and make sure to avoid all moonbeams. I was chilling towards the end, and I finally defeated him. So yes, you can beat Terraria with your wheel classes.